for me,
3, yeah, sorry.
7,
4 was actually
the Aerith scene. That was like the first example to me of like a feeling of tangible loss in a video game. And I don't know if another video game has done it better. Ever.
The part for me was the Iris scene was powerful, and I played Final Fantasy VII before I played Final Fantasy VI. I'm one of those rare ones that will put 6 above 7, even though I played 7 first. 7 has a special place because I played it first, but 6, it's like I think there was more impact when Celeste tried to commit suicide after Cid died. It was like that hit like a truck full of smaller trucks,
Yep.
That was just an
really
emotional
need to play
whiteout
scene.
I mean,
I have never beaten a Final Fantasy game, I'm just hearing a lot of stuff
10
that
and
I
10
don't
too.
know. Yeah, no,
And Kingdom Hearts, if that counts.
Yeah, okay, I've beaten Kingdom Hearts, but I epitomized that hard drive article where it's like the world's biggest Final Fantasy fan has finished some of the games.
Am I offline?
Yeah.
On mine?
I said you were. My internet's been funky, so I don't know.
Yeah, so Six's feel scenes for sure, without being like too super spoilery. Six's feel scenes are really, really good, but they were more like other video games that tried to do feels, in that they like brought you to the edge of feels and made you feel things, but then everything was okay. And Final Fantasy VII didn't do that. Final Fantasy VII was like, okay,
she was gone.
It's it. That's it. And I was like, what? And I had to put the game down for like a week. I couldn't play it. I was like, I was just shocked that was an experience.
They're not coming back, but I've got Phoenix Downs, for Christ's sake. I'm literally drowning. I could build a Phoenix out of the Phoenix Downs I have.
My IRL best friend is one of the biggest Final Fantasy nerds I've ever known. And so it's much like I talk to my dad and other friends of mine about Dark Souls all the time. Our common talk usually goes into Final Fantasy, the lore.
I'll be right back.
Cool.
And the common thing we always end up going back to is like, obviously everybody talks about 6 versus 7. I think they balance out quite evenly, in my opinion. I think Sephiroth is a much weaker villain than Kefka. Literally, Kefka destroys anyway.
Yeah, Kefka actually achieves what he was going for. He succeeds
what he wanted to do, and he didn't give a damn the entire time.
But Kefka was amazing. He's probably one of the best villains.
The subtle nuances of 7's storytelling, and then I'll just obviously the mini games and stuff. Everybody knows about the Golden Saucer, and we can't wait to see what they do with it in the remakes. All of that stuff is so amazing and it's so good, but then it always comes back to the feel scenes in 6, the feel scenes in 4, and the feel scenes in 7. And like there's nothing for that time in gaming in 1997. There's nothing at that time that hit like that scene. Like people nowadays don't understand, like the internet exists, we all have like strategy guides, all that stuff. You went to school the next day
to tell your friends about it, maybe.
And you could see who got to like the middle of disc 2 or the end of disc 2, I guess technically. Yeah. You could see on their faces like, oh, they did it. I know. You saw the you saw the materia dropping down, and oh no.
Not exactly in the same vein. When Spore came out, I had a bunch of friends that were really excited for it, and you could just tell who had like played to the ends that night and who had not. Just based on the generalized reaction from my friends that were there, I guess, because there was just kind of like a couple of us that just looked kind of sunken post getting what was it? There was like the weird branch thing and just getting to the space stage. It was just like, well, that was a thing.
Oh, X-Death. Oh my god, I love Final Fantasy. I'm such a nerd.
I've been playing a ton of Final Fantasy 14. I am shocked at how well it actually holds up compared to most of the other Final Fantasies. I just almost kind of wish it wasn't an MMO.
Amazing.
When they when they did the Reborn and they nuked everything and started over, and we're like, all right, let's actually like build a story. It like tackled every other MMO near it. There was no there was no chance for anything else.
I don't. If
once
nothing
you actually
else,
get
like even. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say very simple. It was like once you get the writer team that was there out, and you bring in actual Final Fantasy writers to write a cohesive story in that nothing else stood a chance.
I think regardless where you stand on the story of Final Fantasy, that is how you relaunch a failed game.
They did it.
It will
Probably one of the
never be a
biggest
better example
relaunches
of
ever that's ever existed.
They destroyed the world. It was so good.
Yeah.
They went full Kefka. It was like, screw it.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just like, yeah, the world's gone. You failed. We failed, really.
My only mild disappointment with that is going into, oh no, I just realized I haven't been actually generating income because I forgot to hit the button. Well, that's frustrating. It's okay. Oh gosh, what was I gonna say? It's a little disappointing how much of the story of like A Realm Reborn is based around like, hey, by the way, Final Fantasy 14 originally sucked, and let's tell you about it in the after, like in retrospect. I'm like, can I get some cutscenes on like what happened in totality? I get a couple.
Yeah.
Now I know they tried to streamline the story a little bit recently. So maybe there's a lot of like side quests and things you could do to find that stuff out.
No, the streamlining was not much. I've looked up both.
Okay.
That's a shame to hear, actually. Are the most recent
I don't know,
expansion was like excellent though.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard all of the expansions are great. I've been enjoying it for the most part. I was just surprised.
Speaking of
several of the
MMOs,
Dapplings literally live Final Fantasy 14.
Speaking of MMOs, how are you guys finding the new one?
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying it myself.
I've been playing.
Are you talking about
But I haven't
New
MMO'd
World,
in a
probably.
while, so it's a
Yeah,
nice
probably.
change for me.
Yeah, I've been having I have it, but I have a hard time launching it because I can't get past the fact that it feels like a machine-generated video game. But it feels like it was like really just It just really feels like a manufactured video, like very machine-generated, which is not necessarily
it's
a bad
MMO
thing.
paint by numbers.
Yeah, I'm gonna leak big time. I didn't buy anything. Sorry, team.
I'm pretty bad here. I just realized that
I just straight up didn't buy anything.
I am in the red on fighter value. I have not been doing much. That's my problem. My bad.
Same. I've leaked every wave.
Wander, what do I need to do to convince you? And others can also daisy chain and join in on the convincing. But what do I have to do to convince you to do a retro Final Fantasy like marathon?
So
The first five
retro here.
The first five are criminally underrated.
now that they've
Five
made
is one of the best
like
Final
new
Fantasy
ones, or like now that they've done that kind of remaster, it's actually super tempting. And I mean, after Shadow of the Colossus, I'm super big on the idea of like going back and actually playing some of these older games that you know I missed, because that one's really good.
Game.
A good game.
It's a very good video game.
It
Holds up.
Good game.
Best puzzle game that
Shadow of
doesn't
Colossus.
get talked as a puzzle game.
Talking about feels, man. Shadow of the Colossus ruined me the first time I played it. Ruined me.
I wonder if it was the same part. Was it perhaps the part where your companion, through the entire bloody game, sacrifices itself heroically?
The bridge can go to hell. I'm just gonna. Up to that point, everything's just like perfect. I mean, everything. All the bricks look like they're in place. The pestle and the mortar and all. It looks great. The structure.
That's
I
what
had
makes me mad.
feels.
But then
I had feels about that game just because it was so achingly atmospheric. But that part, it was like, why? Why do you do this to me? I already liked you. Why?
I know. It bummed
like
me out, but also it double bummed me out because it genuinely felt like that jump could have been made without that. That's what that bummed me out double.
I mean, I was like 20 or like 15 or whatever years old. I don't want to spoil it just in case, because it's a once in a lifetime experience to play the game. I don't want to ruin it for people, but like it punches you again. That's all I'm gonna say. Like that's just it just hits you again. I love that game.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I love it.
It's weird because
very
when
fond
I
of that game. Yes.
It's actually funny because it connects to Final Fantasy too. When I was playing Shadow of the Colossus at the same time I was doing my 12 playthrough way back in the day.
Oh, okay.
And 12 was also very good.
I feel 12 is ultra underrated, and so many people are like, oh, it's so slow, I can't get into it. And I'm like, the one time they make a game that isn't all bouncing off the wall like it's just had way too much sugar, and you don't like... I love 12. I love the political intrigue. Also, Balthier.
Balthier,
sorry.
Yeah,
Balthier.
there's an extra Z in there, which actually sounds pretty cool. It's like Balthazar, but not quite.
Can we change it?
Absolutely
Can we start
is the main character for me.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that's why I couldn't connect to it. It was that it was a little hard to see it all through Vaughn's eyes because I wanted to just see it through either Bosch or Balthier's.
Yeah, Bosch is still a very solid character, honestly.
Here's a divisive Final Fantasy topic. How did people feel about FF13?
I got some spicy
I enjoyed
takes.
it.
I've been trying to play Final Fantasy 13. Like I load it up for maybe about an hour every couple of years and then put it down because I just can't get into it. The camera angles are way too tight. I wish it zoomed out. Yep. It makes me feel claustrophobic trying to play the game.
I have a lot of
I
spicy
played it
takes on
wrong and the
13.
fights took an hour and I put it on auto battler while I just went in the other room and I just couldn't. It was literally just taking too long and I wasn't even looking at the screen anymore, so I stopped playing. I liked it before that.
I find that's one of the easier ones for me to fight for both sides. I have spicy takes on both ends of the battle that game always tends to suffer from. On the one side, like, it has some of the most engaging combat in Final Fantasy ever. Its combat system is extremely fun.
I wouldn't know.
If you understand it. If you understand
I wouldn't know. I was in the
True,
other room.
true, if you understand it. But on the inverse, and the devil's advocate for the people who go against the game, it also has some of the slowest map movement, some of the slowest and most boring transition maps. The world design is not exactly great, and it takes about 45 hours if you're rushing to get to the quality parts of the game when everything opens up, and that's a downside in my opinion, because most Final Fantasies, you could argue 7 is the same way, but Midgar is actually quite large.
Yeah, Midgar is huge, actually, when you actually sit down and properly process it.
Yeah.
And at least once you get like the different forms of transportation in 7, you can get where you want to go really quickly.
That the moment it opens up is the same in 13. I say the same in 13. It just I feel like it took too long, and the maps and it felt like an on-rails shooter until it became a Final Fantasy game with good combat.
On the topic of 12, though, did you guys know that Balthier was originally the main character, but then they switched over to Vaughn because they wanted to connect more with the younger audience? I'm like,
yeah,
dude,
I get that.
Why?
To dig even further, did you know Final Fantasy 12 was originally written as not a Final Fantasy game? Which is why it is so uniquely different than the other games that came around that time. It was
more of like
originally
Vagrant Story.
It was supposed to be a Witcher-esque open world, like early on open world, like RPG, which is why like the monster hunting missions and stuff like that exist in that game. Like it's got some unique systems to it that were not originally for Final Fantasy, and they were just like, let's make this a Final Fantasy game, and it turned out well. Yeah, it's got cactuars. Thumbs up from me.
is that the
win condition?
It was like has cactuar is good.
I mean, you get 1,000 needles and you're just TPK done. 12 was very good though.
V, I'm not giving up on these snails. I just want you to know this.
13 gets too much hate. That's kind of my like finale opinion I always have on it. Is like it deserves some of the criticisms, but it gets too much hate. The game is actually very solid if you enjoy that style. It's just complaining
I
that
actually
it's
found
not
myself
10
really
is not
enjoying
a valid
the
criticism.
political-centric story.
13 would have been a much better game without hope.
Yeah, weak characters also kind of. The main cast is kind
Also
of weak in
most
my
days.
opinion too,
Yeah.
compared to the rest of the catalog that the games have. Like, I mean, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like games leading up to them had amazing cast of characters.
How many of you actually played 13-2?
I played 13
that was
with
a
3. I skipped 2.
Apparently in 13-2, Hope went from being the most annoying Final Fantasy character in the history of Final Fantasy to being like a background cast member who was like annoying but not in your face. Apparently.
That's a good
I know
thing.
nothing. It's me. I know nothing.
I gotta play. I gotta play through 5 again and 4. Those both got remastered, I think. Pretty sure they both did. Oh no, I know 4 did because I
Have they not done all of them by this point? Have they really not done them all at this point?
I don't think they did 5.
They've got a couple that are still waiting in the wings. Like they're producing them really fast, shockingly fast, considering how long ago they were announced.
Yeah.
Okay, now I gotta alt tab. I gotta remember which one I actually have on Steam. I'm pretty sure I have 4. So I don't think they did 5. And if they did 5, yeah, 4, the remake I have. Final Fantasy.
I would like to go on record saying Daphne is possibly one of the most OP characters in this game.
She is amazing.
Daphne is
It's very great.
gross. She's so good. We love Daphne.
Final Fantasy 5, 75.
Does Daphne have a catchphrase in Scooby-Doo? Everybody else does.
Jinkies.
Jinkies? Yeah.
Jinkies. Yeah.
Wait, Daphne! Daphne! Get out of here! That's Velma!
That is
Wait.
Velma. No, Daphne was
Multiple
like,
people! Multiple people, Reps!
It's absurd.
Why do I feel
That's
like there's
crazy.
something else, though?
She's gotta have something.
Wee.
Yeah, I think that's what she says. I think she goes, Fred. I mean, she's gotta have something. Everybody else has something.
I think I'm looking at the
Rutro,
wrong game.
Zoinks, Jinkies,
Oh,
Fred
I just
sounds.
realized.
I'm Fred. I'm Fred.
I've got a plan.
Fred sounds.
Just Fred.
Fred sounds.
Just normal
Fred
Fred
sounds-
things. What's the problem?
Default noise.
Can we get a Scooby-Doo movie?
Fred goes
except,
Rutro.
except with Chris Pratt as Scooby-Doo. Thank you.
Oh my god. Mario noises.
I think it's gonna be fine.
I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's trying to distance itself enough from Mario, like our picture of Mario, so that it can have room to breathe. Because otherwise, what do you do?
It's just nerd culture overreacting about nothing again. Seth Rogen in my
What are you
Mario
talking
movie?
about? What are you talking about? Nerd culture never overreacts.
No.
Yeah.
It's
Remember
never
how
happened.
Pixels was?
I've never seen a nerd react in an epic way.
I think my reaction is just kind of the
Pixels watch
same as
party at the
when
end of the stream.
you know how Avac earlier said like he lost interest in Sea of Thieves because of Jack Sparrow? I think that's kind of it for me, where I'm just like, oh, they got a bunch of these famous people. I mean, I guess that's cool, but
Yeah, those new
inherently I'm
Pixels.
just kind of not as excited about it.
I feel that way with the Chris Pratt. I think that's the only one that was like, you definitely chose him because he was in the Avengers. The rest of the
Yeah.
cast is actually stellar in my opinion.
Yeah.
What?
In my opinion.
I
But the
agree with
Chris
that.
Pratt as Mario, I'm like, he was in Avengers and you wanted him on the cover.
to be fair, right? Everybody remembers Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy, but he's actually a pretty good actor.
What?
He's a very good actor, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's got comedic chops, which is, you know, we'll see how they do Mario, but
Like, I'm skeptical just because it's Chris Pratt playing an Italian plumber, right?
Yeah, it's just. Yeah.
Obo Nobo.
What? Oh, bonobo?
That's what he says in
bonobos?
3D World. That's what he said. That's what he says in
Mushroom
3D
Kingdom?
World. He says Obo Nobo. He doesn't say oh no. He says Obo Nobo. It's 3D World only though. It's
He
exclusive
says,
DLC.
"No, my oboe." That's the hidden dialogue when you break his oboe.
He discovered a secret great ape.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen.
The greatest.
Oh, bonobo.
Obo Nobo. Jack Black
my God.
Bowser is so good. Screw you, Reddit. That's a great
That's a big
choice.
bird.
Jack Black in
Black's a
general is a
big
good
bird.
choice.
Jack Black as Bowser is the best choice.
That's a great choice. I agree.
Yeah.
I can only compete with one, which is Charlie Day Luigi. It's inspired.
Oh my god. The
Yeah,
amount
that
of
is
like
so
short
good.
memes.
Yeah.
That is also a very. That's.
I'm going to ask
definitely
a serious question here, though. If they'd put Jack Black in any role, would you not have said that was the perfect choice? Jack
That's
Black
the
in that role, amazing.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
a
with
fair.
guilty
that's
as
a fair
charged.
point.
Not wrong.
That's a fair
Yeah.
point.
the guy.
Yeah.
I honestly, you could have
not
had Jack
Peach.
Black voice. You could have had Jack Black voice the entire movie, and I probably would have been fine with it.
Yo, CD Projekt Red, if you're,
To be
if
honest,
you're
that probably
listening,
would have worked really well, though.
CD
Yeah.
Projekt Red, if you're listening,
Like, legitimately,
can we get,
that would have worked well. Silas.
I want a remaster of The Witcher, but with Jack Black as Geralt. Thank you. Okay, we've done it.
Okay.
I'm down. Yeah, I can
with it.
support this.
Ooh, he'd be a good Zoltan Shive though.
Oh, he would. He'd be a great dwarf.
But at the same time, he'd also. Oh shit! What's the?
What
what's
if
the
he was
bard's name
Dandelion
again?
though?
Yeah, exactly.
Dandelion. What if he was
Dandelion,
Dandelion? Oh my god.
Yeah,
he
I
just
was
played
going to
the
say,
saxophone.
I'm more on board with him being Dandelion, I'm going to be honest.
That's fair.
Oh
Just
my god.
a metal version of The Witcher. He runs around with
The
electric
new-
guitar and amp.
The Witcher.
That's
4,
Brutal Legend.
Wonder Boy.
Oh my god. Well, now I don't want to spoil anything, but the involvement in Psychonauts.
Yeah.
Oh,
my God.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good.
Well,
That was transcendent. That's my favorite level, almost exclusively due to that, as
can
well as
I-
the level preceding it.
is me asking a question that's related to Double Fine considered a spoiler? Because I haven't played it. Is it a Brutal Legend?
Yeah, they did Brutal Legends as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, in the Psychonauts reference, is it a Brutal Legend like tie-in?
There is a very overt one as part of it, yes, but
Oh, okay.
the character is not necessarily. It is, but it's not.
It just seems like a Double Fine move, and it's a great.
Wanda, I love it when people say things like that. It is, but it's not.
Well,
But it is, though.
I mean,
Except when it
but it's
isn't, it
not.
is.
hey,
it's a
he's
common
got the
phrase with
one
Jack Black.
music-themed level, but
Tis
it's
but
like
tisn't.
Oh, bonobo.
I can't get it out of my
Damn it.
head. Curse you.
That's what he says. I'm not lying.
No, I missed. Oh my god!
I
Why,
played enough- I
when
played
did
enough
the arrow
Mario.
get so red? Pent to stop.
right?
Oh, but no,
Jack
but
Black.
indeed.
I'm good for a reviewing of it's like a yearly review. It's one of my like annual watches to go through Pick a Destiny again, and just look
Oh,
through
yeah.
that phase of my life of just guttural.
That's not
belly
even an
laughs.
annual one for me. It's just the wind needs to be blowing in the right direction. I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's about time.
It's time. Well, I've got up to make dinner. It's Pick of Destiny time.
The Ballad of Kickapoo permanently lives in my head, rent free.
I mean, it's got meatloaf. People that it's got meatloaf and Dio. Like that's just a crazy musical like achievement. Rest in peace.
I was in the process of cleaning up the new apartment. I was down there last weekend, right? I was just like cleaning, and because I didn't have my PC with me, I had my phone on and Spotify just like randomly going through my entire collection of music. And out of nowhere, all of a sudden my music gets very, very soft. And you hear that very, very soft music. And then Dio's Holy Diver. Just
Honestly,
pops.
good. Just good.
And yeah, you just start jamming out. I like air guitar. If anybody was looking through my window, it would have looked like a scene from a movie.
That is one of my shower songs. Not gonna be afraid to admit it. It's one of my shower songs. Neighbors hate it, but it's, I don't care.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. You gotta deal with it. They moved in. I can't be blamed. I shan't be blamed.
He can't be. He shan't be.
I shan't be. Wholesomeverse she shanties when?
When we do Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, when
I think
we
we
do
missed
CFP.
that. I think
So
we missed
when
that.
Jack,
Right,
no, not Jack Black gets removed.
Jack Black and Sea of Thieves.
Jack Black as Jack Sparrow.
That would bring
I
me
would
back.
100% be down for that.
Yeah. That would bring me back. I'll be honest though, it would bring me back to Sea of Thieves if we committed to sea shanties the whole time we played.
Yeah.
Like if there was
I
a
will do it
commitment,
when
I would
Jack Black.
1000 be down for that. Yes.
But when is Jack Black going to be entered into the Wholesomeverse? That's
Whenever
Did we get
he wants.
Arnold too?
Whenever he responds to Rito's emails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've emailed him every day.
Well, this is
I'm
not good.
your
Real hard
biggest
to reach
fan.
him.
I've beat some of your games.
Bowser's got a busy schedule. He's got a castle. He's got kidnapped princesses, breathes fire, builds bridges that are really badly designed with axes that
Run
chop them down.
Nintendo?
Yeah.
I'm like,
He's got an Italian plumber chasing after him that looks like he's from the Avengers screaming Obo Nobo. He's got a rough life.
Oh, but no.
Obo Nobo. What is this show? Oh man, I'm just over here making Mythium.
Gotta say, Sky King team, we're crushing it.
yeah, it's all my fault.
I'll say sure because my arrow definitely isn't 600 in the red.
So I started without a tank, and then the only tanks I got were like 200, and so I've been in a bad place.
I have not paid attention for 12 waves, but I'm somehow doing well, and that's because I picked the.
I think
what,
it's
Princess
because the game
Diana's?
picked
What are
me
they?
as your enemy.
Daphne.
I'm putting my moderately not awful effort here down to the snails, honestly.
You gotta have love and respect for the snails.
Snail care.
Oh, I got to play a game where the spell came up that buffed the
giant
snails the other day.
Yeah.
So good.
So nice.
So good.
Yo, Zoids.
I don't know how good it is, but I love it. It's my favorite, that's for sure. Definitely my favorite one.
I was like sending full fleets of snails. I think it was like, is it 8 or 10 units you can send at the same time?
Yeah, 8 of
Every
the
single wave from that point on, just 8 giant snails every single time. There was no other play to make.
Oh.
Well, I gotta say that healer play you made just destroyed me.
Ooh, all right.
It wasn't the healer. It was absolutely the snail in that group.
Those are the
Not for a second
right.
think it was the
Still
fiend or the hermit. It was the snail. Carried the group.
He's there for moral support. Moral snail port.
Moral snail port.
Snowball.
Moral snowport. Oh dear.
Snail port sound. What is it? It's a. You know what? No, that's.
Did I bring that joke? It was awful.
No,
It's the
worst part is, like,
Rito.
I
Back at it again.
prematurely made a joke that didn't exist, and I was like,
I've been there.
it's like a Michelle Silverstein, like a page out of the book. I was just walking on a sidewalk, and suddenly the drawing ends. It was just- I'm so mad that my bamboo trees are not lined up in unison. It could have been. This could have been like.
Ew. Ew. What did you do?
What did you just? What are
Hannah?
these? What are those lizards? Get out of here!
Also, I'm sorry, Wanda. I'm pretty sure I'm about to brutally murder you.
I mean, yes.
Things you don't want to
Christ.
hear.
That is.
500, Alex.
I mean,
Anyone not leaking today?
I leak everything.
Not
I don't think I am.
Yeah,
I don't
mighty
think I
good.
am. I think
The
I'm
problem
Marty.
is,
Rito
yeah,
and
it's
I.
not gonna
don't know
hold
if I
back
can-
squad.
I don't
Rito
know
and
if
I
I can
have a
cover
desperate
all
need
of
for
this.
depends.
I got
Yeah,
Daphne's.
new sponsor for Wholesomeverse?
Oh my god, yes. So many potential sponsors. We need Depends. We
not
need
good.
You'll Play.
Put a Depends logo on my stream right now.
Oh my god, Cheez-Its. I'd love a Powerade sponsorship.
Ghibli movies.
Ghibli, could we just get Miyazaki to just also join on the same day that Jack Black and Miyazaki join the Wholesomeverse?
Jack Black
in
and
peace.
Miyazaki.
Well, I mean the ghost.
Well, but then who do we plan the docket around? I don't know. I think that's too much of a logistical concern. We're gonna have to only invite one.
How about we ask
Do you want to be the
Jack Black
person who
to just
which one?
wait, I got it. We invite Jack Black and then have him play Nino Kuni while we just hang out.
Ooh.
Very stupid question, but it's so good. If you could, trust me, you don't even know yet. If you could make Jack Black stream, obviously with consent, you wouldn't force him. This isn't Saw. But he would play one game for like a 4-hour stream. What game would you watch Jack Black play? What is the one game you would watch him play and you think would be an absolute riot? For me, I would love to watch Jack Black play RimWorld.
Yeah, I was gonna say like RimWorld or Factorio, but I want him to be bafflingly good at it. Like it's very clear that he plays on his own time, not like kind of the bumbling like I don't really know what I'm doing, but the like just straight up has like a cannibal heart harvesting cult that makes like mad money on the black market. And just
This is an ideology I made earlier.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like more or less the guy's just been studying a vac endlessly.
I think anything
Oh
with
God, no!
Nope. I think
explorative.
Oh, damn, that's the highest shutdown gold I've ever seen.
Rito and I
happen.
just absolutely
Yeah, it
were
was
not there for that one.
I think the low-hanging fruit is like Rock Band or Guitar Hero. Just because I think he'd be incredibly entertaining.
True.
Yes.
For those games.
Or just like YouTube games, like watching
I don't like this
Octodad
guy.
or something like that. But yeah,
I want to see him play Dream Daddy
Click out immediately.
as himself.
That would be incredible. I need to see him play Wanda Song.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, he'd be
I
good at
just
that.
think he'd like be singing along with the character and kind of like actually turning it into a song, and it's like in my mind.